T-2 days counting for the October 23rd India versus Pakistan encounter.
And so, to actually draw us what series to a little close, we of course had to end with India, right?
Of course, we had already done Pakistan. We will end the SWOT with India. Primarily because, look, today was the decider of the two groups and we now know who are in India's group. So, for people who didn't join us for the earlier lives, in this we will tell you what is India's group. So, on October 23rd, India versus Pakistan. October 27th, the team which we thought would be Sri Lanka, but now because they are A1, they are in Group 1. So it will be India versus the Netherlands on October 30th, on 27th at the Sydney Cricket Ground. October 30th is against South Africa at Perth. November 2 is against Bangladesh at Adelaide. November 6th, the final league game that will be held at the Melbourne Cricket Ground will feature Zimbabwe. We all thought, oh, how could Sri Lanka and West Indies both come in that group? But
they can't.
West Indies are not even going to feature in the Super 12s. And by the way, this is the first time in the history of the tournament, ever since this format was conceptualized, the champion team, any champion team has not made it to the main draw.
Correct.
And it sums up the current situation in the West Indies. Many people are already saying West Indies' downfall is due to the IPL, but that is for a different debate altogether. So India, forever everybody's favorite, forever everybody's frustrating enigma.
Yeah.
Because India, we all view them as giants, not just economically, but also by the way of cricket that they play. The players that are just the names, eyes closed. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli. That's it. Legend defined. Legend sealed. But when it comes to the World Cup,
When it comes to any...
let's just look at the squad first, okay? After so many turmoil, so many permutations and combinations, we finally had our squad, which was announced rather early, by the way.
Yeah, it was announced early, but unfortunately, a couple of injuries.
Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav. Those four names speak themselves.
Absolutely.
Because on the basis of what they have done, not just a couple of seasons, maybe for an entire good 5-6 years. In the case of Rohit and Virat, a good decade. Then you've got Rishabh Pant, Deepak Hooda. Possibly they won't start in the game again.
Very likely.
You have DK suddenly out of the blue. Look at Shane's profile of Dinesh Karthik that he did on Sports Today. Suddenly out of the blue, how did a cool dude shirt wearing DK manage to make it to the Indian cricket team?
At a time when no one was expecting him to after a point.
Absolutely. Hardik Pandya,
again,
India's X factor.
Again picks himself.
Yes.
R. Ashwin.
Well, we don't know. He was trying to mimic Harbhajan Singh in his new reel that had come. Who came close? The options were Shardul Thakur and Ravichandran Ashwin. Who wins hands down on imitating Harbhajan? I guess it's Ashwin. Spinner to spinner.
Yuvi Chahal again
picks himself. Akshar Patel
would not have been picking himself, but with no Jadeja.
Ravindra Jadeja's absence through the team composition totally awry. And that is why when Jadeja went, 3 places opened up in the Asia Cup.
Correct.
That's the impact of Jadeja. So Akshar, yes, because of the batting depth, but looking at a rain-curtailed game, I don't think he might get a chance to bat. Maybe with the ball, he may bowl 1 or 2.
He might be useful to the ball, though, because again, he's probably a better wicket taker than what Jadeja is right now.
Yes.
As for the 4 pace bowlers,
Bhuvaneshwar, Harshal, Arshdeep.
It was no surprise. Mohammad Shami, though.
Oh boy, what a bolt out of the blue.
And then there was even further suspense as to whether or not he's making it to begin with.
Absolutely.
He was named in the reserves, got COVID, finally recovered. Then once Bumrah's injury was confirmed, then he's eventually at the last minute they say,
let me just give you this Jeffrey Archer like pot boiler kind of a situation. Jasprit Bumrah's back injury prevented him from going to the Asia Cup, but you saw Jasprit Bumrah doing drills at the NCA, jumping, medicine balls, all that. We all thought, wow, it's just a normal back
he's
injury.
Back and then he's back to fitness.
But it turned into intrigue. It then turned, maybe Jasprit Bumrah is not fit. Maybe it's a recurrence of that 2019-20 injury.
Because again, remember, he bowled in the first match against Australia. Didn't play. He came back in the second and third match, and there he got to bowl some overs, but then came the South Africa series.
And then came the South Africa series, and then suddenly a Hiroshima Nagasaki nuke bomb on us. There was no Jasprit Bumrah for the T20 World Cup. Out for 4 to 6 months. No. Stress reaction. 4 to 6 weeks. No. Stress fracture.
4 to 6
4 to 6 months, and that is why Jasprit Bumrah, but even Mohammad Shami, who took Bumrah's poison chalice, also had a very intriguing.
He was supposed to be playing the matches against England, and then
again he was going
South
to
Africa. Sorry,
yeah, he was going to play against Australia and South Africa. Got COVID before that. We didn't know whether he was
to recover.
Yeah, didn't know whether he was going to make it, but he had to be announced as a replacement. Even in the warm-up game against Australia,
he got one over. The final over to 4 wickets.
Yeah, 3 wickets, 1 run out. That also Shami's thing. So,
that's why I said 4 wickets, because the run out.
And your standby players are Mohammad Siraj, Shreyas Iyer, Ravi Bishnoi, Shardul Thakur. I will just tease our family members here. No Sanju Samson, but Sanju Samson is in the scheme of things for the 2023 ODI
World Cup. Yes.
Yep. That is why. Now we were discussing prior to this. Why is India such a big frustrating anomaly for all of us? They have got such a brilliant stars. I mean, we all thought Tendulkar, Ganguly, Dravid, Dhoni, all those guys. India were quite great that they won the 2007, 2011, 2013 ICC events. World T20 ODI Champions Trophy, the set was complete.
Right.
Since then, the likes of Rohit, Virat, all the other guys have just failed to replicate that success in major events. 2007 World Cup, just have a look at the videos, what I've done in the past about. If Misbah had not mistimed that one scoop shot, the IPL would not have even been born. India would not have been taking T20 seriously for us to discuss all this. 2009 World Cup, lost in the Super 8s, lost to the West Indies.
Same thing, in fact, happened for the next 3 years. They only managed to make it to the Super 8s.
However, in the 2010 World Cup also, they got hammered by Australia, and that is why the net run rate took an absolute hammering. And also, they lost to Sri Lanka. They had a chance to win, they lost to Sri Lanka as well. Lost to the West Indies. 2012, one bad loss to Australia, and that's it, they were out of the tournament.
That's that.
2014, Kohli at his sublime best.
Made it to the finals, but
lost to an even more determined Sri Lanka outfit.
And again, remember 2016, you again lost to the eventual winners.
Yep, 2016 Zenith peak legend Virat Kohli.
And West Indies still over.
82 of 61 against Australia at Mohali. That was the golden peak of Virat Kohli. But then against a very, very determined West Indies, who are not even going to be in the main group, they managed to beat India in their fortress of Wankhede. Went on to hit 4 sixes. Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name, in the Eden Gardens. 2021. I think we'll whitewash this.
That was the Nadir.
Yeah, let's just forget. 2020 never happened, right? You lost by 10 wickets to Pakistan. That was an alternate universe, parallel universe, and all that kind of things. 2021 never happened. One loss. The empire, the fortress that you had built for 1 year, suddenly you decided to chop the base off and demolish the entire thing.
That castle just came crumbling now.
Yes. And that is why that has left a scar, because we still don't, because that is the reason why we still don't know whether we are the favorites or not in the 2022 World Cup. 2 losses. One against Pakistan, unexpected by 10 wickets. I never expected a 10 wicket drubbing, honestly.
No one did.
New Zealand, obvious. India won only once against them in 35 years. That was not really surprising. But even more reasons why we have to believe India are the favorites but are still not. Bilateral giants. One against the West Indies, 4-1. One loss, by the way, came because Rohit Sharma wanted to experiment. Avesh Khan. So it could have very been 5-0. England versus India 2-1. Surya Kumar Yadav, what a knock. And Arshdeep and Bhuvi starring in that T20 series made Jason Roy look totally amateurish. India versus Australia, India versus South Africa.
The last 2 series, you'd remember, did very well there.
Yep.
But the big anomaly,
Asia Cup Super 4s.
I'm sorry, this is a tournament you have to be making the final of if you're India.
Yes, because look, you had started well against Pakistan. You won, although it was a last over finish. But still,
even then, they won their first 2 matches. They beat Hong Kong, they beat Pakistan. And then after that, what happened?
In the Super 4s, you lost to Pakistan, you lost to Sri Lanka.
And that's the campaign done with
2 losses, and you were not even in contention for the final.
Exactly.
Dropped catch, poor bowling in the middle. 19th over blues, all combined together to ensure India were knocked out. So 4 good
bilaterals,
but one
bad tournament.
Multilateral, and this is the major problem.
That has always been the problem with India in recent times. Kings of bilateral cricket, but when it comes to multi-nation tournaments, some things will just happen. They lose that one important game and that's it.
I mean, I can imagine why India is doing this, because look, in bilateral series, Rohit Sharma, the skipper, made a very, very valid point. And I do tend to agree with him, but then if you have to be the greatest nation on this planet,
you have to be able to defeat everyone.
Yes. He says, like, if you are playing a bilateral series, we know it is one team. We have plans made for each and every player and each and every condition. But the problem in a multilateral, if you have to plan many things, sometimes that execution does not come up. But that is the problem.
The greatest of teams pull it off.
Australia have done it so many times. But again, if you look at it from every ICC event, 2015, you lost one game in the semi-final, but you lost in the semi-final. 2016, you lost in the semi-final, but you already were in a precarious position when you lost your first game. Poor planning, poor execution there as well. 17, you just had a top order, you had no middle order.
Correct. Same with 2019.
2019, one bad session, by the way. That same cliche. Every World Cup, every ICC event, one bad session cost us the game.
What do we always say? One bad innings, one bad knock, one bad spell, one bad session. But that one bad session is the difference between disaster and triumph.
Absolutely. So we are still very pessimistic, not because of the fact that India have a great record in bilateral series. It's because of this Asia Cup Super Force anomaly that has thrown everybody in a conundrum. And remember, India, I may say, had a pretty okayish build up to the T20 World Cup, defeated Australia, but Australia don't pull their A game in warm-up games. Their game against New Zealand got washed out, thankfully, because had they lost to New Zealand, which is a norm in ICC events, their confidence would have taken a big bashing. So, in that sense, if you look at it, yet again, our biggest strength and the biggest opportunity for us combined is this Indian batting order. Look, Virat, Rohit, Sky, Hardik, 4. Even KL Rahul, we have not included KL Rahul because he's played only 10 games.
Correct.
So, a maximum of 14 to 15 games is the cutoff and about 400 runs. KL looked in good form in the series against South Africa and also against Australia.
Correct.
Especially in that Barsapara match against South Africa, he looked very good. But yeah, he was panned for a very strike rate of 80 in the chase of 100 against South Africa and Thiruvananthapuram.
Yeah.
But maybe that deserved it. That kind of surface, it was pretty tricky.
Yeah.
But then this man, Sky, seems to be batting on a different level altogether. I mean, 801 runs, 40, but look at that strike.
And that's the thing, when it comes to everyone else, you have Rohit, who's actually the third best here, and you have Hardik at 151, but again, the volume of runs is a big difference. 800 to 400. He's a bang player lower down the order, so I won't expect him to match that. But when we were comparing England and when we were comparing other teams with England, pretty much everyone is in and around the 150, 160, 170 mark. Here, even Kohli's strike rate has actually, improved in recent times.
Yes.
But again, prior to that, we know for the fact that he's someone who will struggle with six hitting.
Yes. But then in the series against Australia, he was hitting sixes.
But then to be fair, again, home. Australia, we've seen, remember,
even the UAE, you can't call that home.
It's not home, but again, smaller grounds.
70 meters, smaller grounds, I don't think so. But look, Sky can clear the boundary easily, effortlessly.
And he's someone who relies as much on innovativeness as anything else. So.
Yes. Unlike the previous World Cups where there was just a top order and no middle order. This time
you're actually pretty stacked.
Middle order is potent. Virat, Sky, Hardik, DK,
Akshar
3 to 7 is absolutely stoked. Strike rate, no problem. Volume of runs, no problem. Average, absolutely no problem. You may think Rohit 25.7, but look at the strike rate. I will buy that. I will take the trade-off any day.
Exactly.
So our biggest strength, and on the basis of which we are hoping that India goes far in the tournament, is the bat. The batting lineup of India is as intimidating as England and Australia. I would say it will be like England, India, Australia in that order for intimidation.
Okay.
So in that way, if you have to look at it, if you have to look at it in that way, top 20 batters, it's always been Sky, Rohit, Virat. Shreyas Iyer is, by the way, in the reserves, but he's not going to play. But he's there in the team.
But again, 40 average, 141 runs. He could also feel hard done.
What is the short ball weakness? I think it's been hyped up a lot. But yeah, if suppose he didn't get that start, then he would put further pressure on India also. But I think too much has been made about the short ball weakness. And he was making an improvement towards it.
And then he got
when
dropped.
he got dropped, and you got him back again the short ball was exposed.
Because he wasn't playing regularly.
Yep. So,
but when it comes to the bowling,
now the threat and the weakness
is the bowling.
Because Jasprit Bumrah is out. Is the bowling. Everybody said India's bowling is rather defensive. India lacked that pace edge.
You lack an X factor in the bowling, let's say.
Yep. Jasprit Bumrah's absence, and even Ravindra Jadeja for that matter.
True.
Those two absences have really blunted your bowling lineup in a big way. And that is why we have a clear-cut strength and opportunity when it comes to the batting. There is a clear-cut weakness in the Indian bowling
And
because Bumrah and Jadeja are not there. Had Bumrah and Jadeja been there, we would have struggled to figure out what is the weakness of the Indian cricket team.
In fact, more importantly, what Bumrah's absence has also done is shown the light on the fact that without him, there's not much when it comes to the death bowling options. Because now really it's only Arshdeep who I would trust in those overs. Harshal, people will point out, but he too has been very hit and miss.
Look at, okay, you may have seen 8.14, but if you have to look at his death bowling, for Punjab Kings it was great. But for the Indian cricket team, unfortunately, it's been hit and miss. And primarily, it's been a bit of a miss. Harshal is very worrying. 9 points, although, okay, he changed that game in that warm-up, but again, I'm not reading too much into a warm-up.
But look at that economy, 9.39 over 2022.
Massive issue. 7.2, your best bowler in that team, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, now with experience factor also, 7.2, not a good sign at all. And now Akshar, but look at even Akshar's economy.
Yeah, but even Akshar goes at 8 because he's a little more attacking than Jadeja. Jadeja didn't get you as many wickets, but he was a perfect container in the middle order.
Your only hope in the middle overs rests in Yajuvendra Chahal.
Yeah, Chahal needs to find some form.
7.6, he came back to a bit of form in one of the games in the Asia Cup, but when it came to the home series in
he struggled a bit there.
He struggled in the initial stage of the Asia Cup. In the warm-ups, yes, he did struggle, but then he did hold his own. Now, again, that same conundrum. Do you go for economy plus wickets or you go for only economy? That's the case with Ashwin because his economy rate is lesser than UZ Chahal.
Yeah, he has a better economy, but doesn't get you wickets when your team is already, let's say, shorn of wicket takers in the middle overs.
And Ashwin didn't take a wicket in the warm-up against Australia at the Gabba.
He doesn't really look to take wickets either.
So that is one major issue. With Rajasthan Royals, when these two guys were playing, you know that UZ was your ultimate
wicket taker and Ashwin was there to
as a hold-up bowler.
Correct.
But can you afford that tactic in the T20 World Cup?
No, not a chance. You cannot. Even Rajasthan, for all the facts that they reached the final, we kept saying they were one batter short.
Yes.
Because they really backed, they were playing 5 pure bowlers.
Yep. And with Aksar's inclusion now, it doesn't give any option for Ashwin to be included. So, because my 11 would be now, unfortunately, the compulsion to bat deep, although he will not get that much of a role. Let's say I will revise my playing 11. What happened in the dugout yesterday? I will revise that. KL, Rohit, Virat, Surya, Hardik, DK. That is cast in stone. Okay. I was saying pick 4 pacers, but because the team composition and because you need a buffer, 7 and 8 will be your Akshar Patel and Yajuvendra Chahal. Bhuvi, Arshdeep, Shami
would be your 3 pacers.
That is the 11. With Hardik also you have a 4th pacer option.
Correct.
And maybe Hardik and Akshar will bowl 2 overs each. That is the way that I look upon it. So, this Indian cricket team now...
Even now, I mean, there's quite a bit to unpack because things could really go either way. There's no set in stone sort of a thing that, okay, they do this and they're guaranteed to win. Yes, the batting looks good, but the bowling has been a concern.
Yes.
And with the likes of Bumrah and Jadeja missing, it's impacted not just your bowling, but to an extent, in Jadeja's case, fielding.
Fielding also.
And good fielding, very, very important in a place like Australia.
Yep. So, India will have to go back to the early 2000s template. If your bowlers don't do well, your batsmen have to step up a notch.
Yeah.
Remember, it was the batsmen who got us out of trouble mostly in that early 2000-2010 period.
Correct.
Under Dhoni and now with Virat Kohli's captaincy, you've got a good quartet of bowlers.
Correct.
The depth is there. But now, two of your main bowlers are not there. And
so on one hand there are signs of optimism, on the other there are also signs of concern. Which India will show up on which given day?
The Indian cricket team is like Bombay. Extreme strengths, extreme lows. That's how it is.
And we don't know which India is turning up on which given day. So obviously that is something that remains to be seen. But of course, we're going to be optimistic and be bringing you everything from the matches that will be happening.
As I said, with this group now sorted, I think India,
I think they would be relieved at this group.
Yeah. If they win one of their games against Pakistan or South Africa, they are guaranteed a spot in the semi-final. Because look, you would not want the Indian cricket to lose to Zimbabwe
and Netherlands.
Even Bangladesh.
Remember, Bangladesh last 3 major tournaments they've played. 2021 World Cup, didn't win a match. 2022 Asia Cup, didn't win a match. Tri-Series played before this tournament, didn't win a match. So if you end up losing to Bangladesh...
Their highlighted their plight in advance. So that was the worst thing for Bangladesh. So you don't know which Bangladesh will turn up.
And to be fair, you don't even know which India are going to turn up on any given day. But cautiously optimistic, but of course hoping for the best.
I've put my money on the fact that India will make it to the semi-final. My 4 teams in the semi-final are Australia, England, India and South Africa.
Seems likely at this.
Because I think every edition of the T20 World Cup, barring 16, has seen a new winner. Maybe South Africa is that team.
Will finally break the ICC jinx?
Maybe. So, India, South Africa, Australia, England are my 4 finalists heading into the T20 World Cup. India, England final, Australia, South Africa semi-final. I'm just saying, India, England semi-final, Australia, England...
I'm reserving all of these predictions till later on. Right now, I want to see how it is that India do. And first of all, they have to make the right start because it's 2021 sure. A bad start can ruin everything.
Really ruin the entire tournament. And so, India versus Pakistan, 2 days to go.
Don't forget to stay tuned. We'll be bringing you all the updates, not just from here, but also from Australia itself.
And let's hope that the water sprinkler up there is turned off.
Please let the rain go away.
Yep.
Come back another day.
Yes. Don't go to Spain. They also are struggling with it. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you. Subscribe to Sports Today. If you
like, share, subscribe,
press the bell icon.
Press the bell icon. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram too. Thank you.
Vanakkam.